Hey, what's up, everybody? Chicago Goon here, bringing another Arsenal talk. Well, happy St Totterinham's Day to everybody out there. Another year, 20 straight years finishing ahead of Tottenham. It's almost kind of getting old, but again, it's just it's just a beautiful time to be an Arsenal fan, and having those stupid assholes thinking after they beat us at White Shit Lane that this was their year finally. They'll never learn. They will, they'll keep on trying to talk shit, and you would think by now, instead of talking shit endlessly and talking shit on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, name any kind of social media, that they would wait at some point and just wait it out until it actually does happen, which it probably never will. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the way they spend money and who they spend it on, and the players that they bring in, they're nowhere close to the quality that Arsenal has. If you thought it would have happened, it would have happened in the last like 2 or 3 years. Given our injury record, especially over the last 2 years, and then even, of course, 1-1 at Newcastle. I mean, that was the cherry on top of the sundae. I mean, obviously, I mean that was one hilarious day. Going back all the time and watching that video when people thought it was 1-1 at Newcastle and they're all celebrating thinking that they're going to be in the Champions League, and nope, miss Champions League, you lose your best player that you've had in the past probably like 15 years in Gareth Bale going to Real Madrid, and then for us be able to buy Mesut Ozil. But on to today's game. Just it was just a fun game to watch from start to finish. Ended up 3-1, should have been, 5, maybe even 6-1. I know a lot of people were saying that, they were scared, after they nicked the goal. But at no time it didn't even seem like during the game that any of the Arsenal players were ever concerned about what Hull was going to do during that game. We were just in sync from start to finish. Unfortunately, I still had my concerns, even though he did get a goal and assist today. But Aaron Ramsey on that right side, he drifted again more into the center of the center of the park instead of playing on that right wing. But I mean, today's game, we're technically we're up against the fourth worst team in the BPL, and at no time we were ever concerned of what they were going to do, or what they were even going to try to do going forward. I think the possession stats were something around like 68% for us, and like 32% for them. We had some breaks going our way, obviously. The first Alexis Sanchez goal on the free kick went right off of Dawson's head. Ex scum player, went right off his head, went right into the goal. Harper had no chance whatsoever at that. And then, of course, Aaron Ramsey's shot as well had a little bit of a deflection on it as well. Again, good breaks going for us. I'm never going to complain about that. But then you have the third goal. I mean, Alexis Sanchez should have had another one right before his second goal. Santi Cazorla played a beautiful through ball right to Alexis Sanchez. He just made a great run right in the middle of the pitch, and he tried to chip the keeper. I thought he should have took an extra touch because Harper was really committed to going after and trying to stop Sanchez from scoring. That's one of the negatives about Sanchez, is that he doesn't like to use his left foot at all. Anytime that he does dribble, he always tries to cut into the right so he can shoot with his right foot. I would like to see him try to work on that. Obviously, he's not going to have that much time to work on things like that during the summertime because they have Copa America coming up this summer. So he's not going to have that many opportunities to really, really practice and really try to get better with his left foot. But again, I thought he should have made an extra touch and trying to chip the keeper. And it would have been just an easier goal for him, because Harper was committed to sliding into him and trying to stop the shot, and which he did. But again, his third goal, or I mean his second goal, was what he should have did on the goal I just explained. Was he just took an extra touch. Again, Harper was committed, and he just took an extra touch to his right, and then it was an open goal. And again, the sequences between from right after we scored that first goal, I mean, it was just wide open. Even going into the second half, I mean, it was just kind of like wide open. Second half, we didn't really come out that strong, to be honest with you. We kind of looked like we were still in the dressing room, but at the same time, we were never really concerned about what was going to happen in that game at all. It was kind of funny the week prior, or midweek or whatever, Liverpool couldn't even beat Hull City, which is it. I mean, it's just a kind of testament of how strong and how dominant we have been, especially in the second half of the season, to where we had a lot of problems. Of course, formation problems, injury problems, you name it. We had to deal with it in the first half of the season, but the second half of the season has just been completely just like lights out. It's 10 BPL games in a row unbeaten, 9 wins, 1 draw, 28 points out of 30. I mean, that's pretty damn good. You kind of just like hope to you can just go back to that first half of the season, and just nick a point here or there, turn some of those draws into wins, and we'd be right there. We would be going right to the last game against West Brom, maybe, possibly, like still trying to get, trying to win a league. Again, for the second straight year, we lose the league based off of injuries. I mean, Drood, Ozil, Ramsey, Jack, Theo, basically anyone in our starting 11 at some point in time was injured. Debussy was out. Koscielny was out for a little bit of time. Per just wasn't himself. Gibbs and Monreal were switching. There wasn't really any type of, it just wasn't solid. Especially on the left side, nothing was really solid. Of course, Coughlin didn't come in until about December time. So there's just a lot of hiccups along the way, especially in the first half of the season. But today's game, I mean, everybody played great today. Again, I'm still not in love with the fact that Aaron Ramsey's playing on the right wing, just because he's just so deadly when it comes to playing as a center midfielder, playing that CM role that Santi Cazorla is playing currently. Santi's playing great. He had a 10 times better game that he did against like Chelsea and in the previous fixture, I believe, against Reading. He just didn't look good in those 2 games, but in this game, he looked like he's back to normal. Maybe a little bit of rest. We had a little bit over a week. I think we had 7 total days, 8 days off since our last game, and maybe that helped. Hopefully that did help, because honestly, from this point forward, we're not going to be switching the starting 11 for the rest of the season probably. And you're even seeing, Jack came back today, played great, I thought, for being his first game back. The commentators were making they're making comments of how dangerous Jack Wilshere is just to himself, just because of the way he plays, and he just goes balls out. And just as they were saying it, he makes that run right into the middle of the 18-yard box, and of course there's that foul. The guy basically takes his ankles out from under him, and you're just kind of like, oh crap, he's gonna, he went down screaming, and you're just like putting your hand in your head, and you're just like, oh my God, when is he ever gonna learn? But I guess sometimes you just got to take it and that's his style, and that's the way things are going to be. Unfortunately for him, but at some point in time, someone needs to push, pull him to the side and say, you need to get rid of the ball a little bit sooner than you are, just to save yourself, and stop getting injured so many times. Because I mean, let's face it, we haven't seen the best out of Jack Wilshere since his previous injuries back in basically like 12 and 13 season. So if he can just stay injury free, that's just another weapon that we're going to have either starting or coming off the bench. Um, Mesut Ozil, another great game by him. I mean, that flick, you can watch that flick all day long. And, he's just a joy to watch. For anybody who had problems with him even last year or even in the first half of this season, you just don't know what you're missing. To watch this guy play, every weekend, anytime for Arsenal, I mean, it's just an absolute joy to watch him play. And all the things that he does with and without the ball. It's just so much fun. Like watching him and Alexis Sanchez play, it's just tons of fun to watch those two guys play and to see what they're doing. I mean, you're seeing the best right now. In the second half of the season, coming back from injury, he's been one of our best players. How anybody can still call him a flop or a bust or any of those type of stupid comments that the pundits make or even other fans make of other teams. I mean, it's just hilarious. It's jealousy. That's what you can pinpoint it on. It's just pure jealousy of having this type of player at Arsenal, this type of skilled player that has so much talent, and you're starting to see the best out of him. Even today, I know it's Hull City and all that other crap, but he was playing defensive. He's been playing more defensive than I've seen him ever play as a player in this second half of the season. I think he's finally, he's seeing what Arsenal has right now, and what Arsene Wenger and maybe even the other players are demanding of even Mesut Ozil. Maybe he's finally listening to the stupid pundits and saying, "Oh, you think I'm a bust? You think I suck? You don't think I'm worth of 42.5 million pounds? Okay, well I'll show you that I am." And that's great to see. I never talked about this, but he gave an interview about maybe like a month and a half ago. I was going to talk about it, but just keep on forgetting to bring it up. But that in this interview, he says, I can win the Ballon d'Or. That's that's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty great that a player has that much confidence in himself. And if he's going to win it, the best year to do it is next year. Not this year, which is the 2015, calendar year, but the calendar year of of 2016 is probably his best chance because of the, excuse me, Jesus Christ, because of the Euros next summer. Which is going to be main stage that summer is the Euros. It always shows on especially here in the United States. I don't know which network is going to be showing it, whether it's ESPN or Fox. Kind of hoping the ESPN does it because they're just doing the way they did the World Cup over the last couple of years. They've been doing a pretty damn good job of it, and hopefully they'll be doing it. But the year of 2016 is going to be his best opportunity to really do that. So, I can talk about that a lot more later. But for him to come out and say he has the talent to, and he thinks he can win the Ballon d'Or, that's just confidence. That when you have that much confidence in yourself, and he's showing it. I'm not saying that he's showing it for this season or for this calendar year, but he's made strides. Coming from Real Madrid to where, I mean, let's face it, when you play at Real Madrid, probably 80%, 85% of your games, you don't have to play any defense. Let's be honest, La Liga is a weak league. When you get past Atletico Madrid, it's a pretty weak league. And when you don't have to defend all the time, when you don't have to, when it's not box to box, end to end like it is in the Premier League, to where you have to defend even against weaker teams. It's just a different animal. And I think he's finally, settling down. He's finally understanding the league. You can see, he bulked up during his time off through his injury. He bulked up his upper body to start, withstanding the punishment that he's going to be taking throughout the whole season. And you can see the commitment. Honestly, he had a couple great defensive plays in this game against Hull City. He just kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think anybody was expecting it. So if he can start playing like that, and he can start playing a little bit more defensive, we're going to be tough to beat going forward, especially next season. Again, talking about Alexi Sanchez, man of the match, everything that he was doing, this is part of him, with Mesut Ozil stepping up his game. This is like the Alexi Sanchez effect of how much, seeing his work rate and how hard he tries, and you can go back, how Eden Hazard won the PFA is ridiculous. I don't even think that Alexi Sanchez was in the top three, which is a fucking joke. I know the players and I think the managers vote on that crap, and I just don't get it. I mean, he only has 19 goals on total in the season, and I think he only scored something. I think I looked it up. It was a couple of weeks ago. I think he only has something like 12 goals in open play through all competitions. The rest of them are PKs. That's a fucking joke. To anoint that kid for whatever reason, there's some type of an agenda to get Eden Hazard one of the top players in the world, because I'm sorry, he's not. Jose Mourinho said he's right up there with Messi and CR7. He's not even close to that. He's nowhere even close to that. So there's some type of agenda. I don't get it. I don't understand him. Yeah, he's a good player, but how many games can you count? I mean, you can count how many games he went missing throughout the season. Champions League, BPL, FA Cup. I mean, the guy goes missing a ton. Does Alexis Sanchez go missing? No, you can't. You can't watch a full Arsenal game and not see Alexis Sanchez running his ass off throughout the entire game. And trying as hard as he can, because his work rate is just beyond this world. And I could just make a whole video about this, and it's just a joke. Honestly, it's a disservice. It's disrespectful to not even put Alexis Sanchez as a top three in the BPL for as far as the PFA goes. I mean, the voting is, it's kind of a joke, to be honest with you. But again, man of the match, just played his ass off today. We showed our quality. We were having fun out there today. All the back heels, the flicks, the passing. For whatever reason, in the second half, Hull City, decided to create some type of brick wall in front of the goal. I mean, we couldn't nick another goal. Jack Wilshere had a chance. Santi had a chance. Sanchez had I think one or two more chances. Ozil had a chance. I think Aaron had one or two chances as well. I mean, there was a chance after chance after chance that we had today, and we just couldn't nick that fourth goal, unfortunately. Even when they, like I said, they got their goal, Hull City, it should have never been allowed in the first place. I forgot who the ginger was on Hull City. He lost complete control of the ball. Koscielny was going to get there first. It was his ball, and he kicks it, and all of a sudden, and it ricochets off the other guy because his studs were up. He wasn't. His studs were up and everything. He even caught Koscielny on the foot, and of course, Anthony Taylor, that fucking prick, doesn't call a foul when there should have been one. And of course, Hull City was right in on goal, and they got a free goal. That's basically what it was. It was a free goal because the referee wasn't strong enough to make that kind of foul call. Again, the referees, I bet they can't wait for the season to end, because it's just been a disaster after disaster throughout this entire season with the FA refs, and they better clean a lot of shit up before next season. Because it's just, like I said, it's just been a disaster for them this entire season. But even after that goal, you saw the players' faces, you saw how they reacted. They weren't worried. At no time and point did the players ever look worried that Hull City was going to nick even another goal. we just turned up, we turned up the heat again after that goal, and we started attacking more. We started, playing a little bit more defensive. We were hitting them on the counter attack left and right, and of course with the different passes, and of course, like I said, there was just a brick wall for some odd reason, right in front of the net, and we just couldn't nick that fourth goal, unfortunately. But all in all, just a great day. Great game to watch. Arsenal. Um, Next week we got Swansea City at home. Our last three out of the four games that we have are home games. We have Swansea City on a Monday again. I don't know if this is part of the BPL of what they try to do, just because it's the end of the season. Um, you know the the league might be decided already, which it has been, and they're trying to put all the big boys up on Monday night just to get some TV ratings. But again, it's back-to-back Mondays for whatever reason. It's Arsenal against Swansea City. Of course, we go to Old Trafford on the Sunday after that on May 17th. And then we have a midweek game against Sunderland at home, and then we have West Brom to finish out the BPL season, and of course the FA Cup final against Aston Villa on the 30th. But again, it's just kind of weird that we have back-to-back Monday games. But again, it's not a game that we should be taking lightly. Swansea City's currently on 53 points. They're having a good year. You take them out of Europa, which they had to go through, I believe, last year, and they almost got regulated. So this season they don't have anything else other than domestic competitions, and they're looking pretty good. They lost Wilfred Bonny, and they still look pretty decent. So it's not a game that we should be taking lightly. 3 points again, 3 points from here on out. We need to solidify that second spot. I think even after, like I said, we could lose to Manchester United at Old Trafford if we want to, and just finish out the season. We'll be finishing in third. Just because we do have a game in hand already, again, still, which is the Sunderland game that we had to reschedule because the FA Cup semifinal. So yeah, we're the only team, or us and Sunderland are the only teams on 34 games. Right now we're -2 off of Manchester City for goal differential. They have 35, we have 33. So it's looking good. It's looking positive for us. We're 21 wins, 7 draws, 6 losses. Of course, with the game in hand. Still finishing out the season strong. If we can finish out the season unbeaten again, that'd be great. That'd be great for us. It would give us a ton of confidence going into the next season. Of course, if we finish 38 games unbeaten, next year, then we'll be passing the Invincibles. But probably won't be able to do that unless we get some major reinforcements going into next year, which I'm not going to even start talking about transfers or anything like that, because I'm not going to start talking about that kind of stuff until after the FA Cup final, because there's no real point, because I'm not looking forward to the crazy season, even though it's going to be a little bit lighter of a season than in previous years. But yeah, good game today, and then of course St Tottenham's Day. Those fucking pricks can they can go fuck themselves for another year, and try to think of how they're gonna fuck up next year again. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun, and we'll talk to you later.